other trucks trying to milk the most motor in the dairy state. Coming up next. This is Trucks and Tractor Power, featuring the superstars of the four-wheel and off-road Jamboree Nationals Monster Truck Challenge. Welcome to Trucks and Tractor Power on the Nashville Network. Today we're at the Racine County Fairgrounds in Union Grove, Wisconsin for the four-wheel and off-road Jamboree Northern Nationals. Hi everybody, I'm Gary Lee alongside Army Armstrong. And Army, if they're truck lovers, this represents paradise.
No matter whether you drive the two-wheel or the four-wheel drive trucks, these Jamborees are where everybody goes. When I say everybody, the corporate involvement here is amazing. One of the major corporate sponsors for these events, located just 2 hours down the road, they're here. They follow the circuit because they know one thing, just like you and I. If you like and love trucks and you like and love racing, the Jamborees where you're going to get to see all the best.
And it's going to be side-by-side monster truck racing from the dairy state coming up next. One of the many pristine trucks on display this weekend here in Union Grove, Wisconsin, but the trucks we'll see in competition don't always stay pristine. We'll take a look now at the pairings in round one. Bigfoot 8, along with Micro Machine. Then it's the Equalizer, Tropical Thunder. Taurus against Bad Medicine, the Carolina Crusher, and King Crunch. Also in round one, we have Nightmare against Snakebite. Barefoot, the second fastest qualifier, will take on No Problem. But once again, there is a look at Andy Brass out of St. Louis, Missouri. Out of 12 trucks, he once again is the fastest qualifier. And in round one, he takes on Micro Machine, John Breen.
Now, by virtue of his quick qualifying time, Andy Brass is going to have lane choice as we look in at some of the safety equipment that these drivers are wearing, displayed by John Breen. But Brass goes to the right side, and I can't figure out how they determine the good lane from the bad lane just by looking at him.
Well, he has it figured out because look at that advantage at the finish line, but he won it with his hole shot. The fans show their appreciation. Now watch once again, watch the weight transfer. The front end elevates as Andy Brass nails the hammer, and he has a one right there. A lot of hang time, a lot of air time. Let's talk to our winner, Andy Brass.
Well, Gary, we got the first winner of the day with us. Andy Brass, tell us about the track.
Well, the track's a little different from what it was when we qualified. It's a lot wetter now, which means we're going to have to probably pull a gear change on it. Last night we qualified, we took and run hard. We were spinning the wheels on the line. Now we're getting a little more traction, so we're going to have to drop down a little bit.
And now we take a look at Equalizer. Equalizer with David Morris on board. And he goes up against a brand new truck on the circuit. Here is Wayne Smozanic from Jupiter, Florida in Tropical Thunder. Well, that truck has a new paint job and a new name, but it's been around for a while.
Well, the truck has been around for a while. Started life as the Nightlight. They flipped it. He's changing the name. He's changing the image. But you could have a very interesting story on the far side. Equalizer comes back to run with us one more time. And who's behind the wheel? None other than the original driver himself, David Morris. And Gary Lee, the kid has not lost one thing. He's a good shoot.
The 1989 champion, David Morris. And once again, after a sabbatical from the tour, Equalizer is back. And he takes the victory here in round one over Tropical Thunder.
Kind of like riding a bicycle, I guess, Gary, once you learn how to do it.
Well, that truck always has been competitive, but once again, here's a close-up look at Tropical Thunder. This was the Nightlife truck. They got it upside down, rebuilt the truck, repainted it, and renamed it. But right now, let's go ahead and talk to David Morris. Here's Army.
Well, David, first of all, welcome back, and you're coming back like you went out, and you're a winner on this thing. How's it feel to be back?
Well, everything's different from when I left. Trucks are a lot faster. The courses are getting a little bit faster, and I'm just trying to get used to the truck and these courses, and hopefully we're going to do good here today.
Good luck. We'll be keeping an eye on you.
Thanks.
And I think he has more whiskers than he had the last time we talked with him.
I know one thing. He's got a cute little daughter. Remember that family now. Bad Habit. One of the Dodge boys coming out. Relies on the Chrysler horsepower out of Missouri. Don Van Loo. Who's he going to be going against?
Well, he goes up against Jack Willman Jr. in Granite City, Illinois' Taurus. This is a father-son combination. And on this given day, Junior is in the cockpit. We've seen his dad win before. Let's see how well Junior can do here this afternoon. Whoa, a great hole shot. Great young reflexes.
Yeah. Boy, I tell you what, Willman impressed Army Armstrong on that run.
Well, he cut that light as well as you can cut it. That was just great reflex, great anticipation. He took the victory. Now, there may have been some problems over here with bad medicine, but whatever the problem was, the victor goes to Taurus.
Yeah, the light went green. He went south in a hurry, didn't he?
Here's a guy who's no stranger to victory lane. The Big A Auto Parts Carolina Crusher. Gary Porter against Scott Stevens in the Auto Value King Crunch.
So keep an eye on him, because right now he's got a full body on him. Earlier in qualifying, take a look at what happened, though.
He's been upside down so many times this season. He almost got upside down again. He's out of control. Now watch him go through these Hydra barriers. They're filled with water. He takes a shower, but at least keeps it sunny side up. Oh, he's had all kinds of trouble this season with that truck.
That chassis is just tweaked. It's bent some way, and he's got to figure it out. Now, we're on board with him right now. He gives a thumbs up to the starter, waiting for the light to go green. Man, let's hope for a straight run.
Carolina Crusher, the far lane, and Gary Porter takes the victory.
Well, here we go again.
Oh, yeah, I think you're right. We've talked about this in shows past. I mean, I think they have to take that truck back to Texas, take it all the way down to the bare frame, and almost start from scratch, because it's certainly not the driver. We have seen this Scott in victory lane before, but not this season.
No, I'm looking at something. You notice a change in Scott? He went to one of the new Simpson helmets. Okay, all this safety equipment, all these accidents he's having is making him awfully aware of it. If nothing else, he's a great testimonial.
Yeah, he had the old full-face helmet, and now he has that Simpson full-face skid lid, and he certainly has had to put that helmet to use this season. Once again, into the Hydra barriers. Well, now you can see how they work, though.
Yeah, they work. That's the whole thing. By his bad luck, the sport's finding out that the right combination is the kill box and the hydro barriers.
Well, once again, Gary Porter takes the victory, but really the spotlight was on Scott Stevens, because he's the guy that got in trouble.
Yeah, Porter was just out walking the dog. Meanwhile, Stevens gone fishing.
Well, Scott's using some very expensive fishing tackle, if that's the case, Army. He's getting lots of airtime. Every time he crashes, we talk to him. Once again, here's Scott.
Scott, it seems like no matter what you do, the truck almost has a mind of its own. It's going to the left after the second jump.
Yeah, you know, it's every race here lately at the finish line, it's kind of reacting on what it's going to do. I don't know, evidently the power steering pump may be cavitating or something at that RPM, because when it lands after the second set, it just does what it wants to do. And, you know, luckily the safety that the MTRA has saved our truck, didn't hurt no parts, and the killers worked really good, everything did good. And it didn't hurt nothing on the truck, but, you know, I'm not for sure if from the chassis being a little tweaked from the wrecks from the last few weeks, or steering pumps. It's hard to say. It's just pretty frustrating to know every time that light turns green that the chances seem like they're going against us, because, you know, we're rolling over almost every other lap.
I'll tell you what, a few crashes like that will tweak your psyche, that's for sure, every time you climb in the cockpit. Round one continues with Snake Bite on the right and Nightmare on the left.
You know, Scott could be getting a little bit punchy. He called it a lap instead of a race.
That's true. He's seen a lot of sky from upside down in the cage.
Whoa, look at Steve Haas. We might be looking at an upset.
Steve Haas in the GMC Nightmare out of the state of Indiana takes the victory over the truck from Colorado, Snakebite.
Well, I tell you what, Hestus Pendoliner GMC really pulled the trigger on that Snakebite Ford. Well, Gary, we're standing with the driver of the Pendoliner-sponsored GMC, Steve Hess. You're going into the next round, but give me an update on the track out there. It looks like you got to think and drive, too.
You do. On that first set, you got to be careful not to clear them, but yet when you do land, you got to be back in that power and straight for that second set.
How's the truck for the next round?
We're ready to go. It's really running strong, and we're looking forward to another round here.
Good luck to you.
Thank you very much.
And coming up next, we have Barefoot. He's the second fast qualifier, Fred Shafer, out of Illinois, and he goes up against No Problem. Here is John Moore.
This is unique. You got the Ford and the Chevrolet. That makes a war. But also you got two different theories. You got the Chevrolet with the longest wheelbase in the sport. He's about 18 inches longer than the Ford. Short wheelbase, long wheelbase. There's been a lot of theory, a lot of philosophy on this, and we're going to find out which one works right now. I believe Barefoot's got a handle on this thing, Gary.
Well, he was the second fastest in qualifying, while No Problem, John Moore was only 8th quick.
Yeah, Moore moved on him, but boy, that big old Chevrolet just settled down and went to war on the
all Barefoot, the long wheelbase pickup truck, and Barefoot advances. Watch again.
Once again, the starting line worked for both trucks, but Boy, that new technology really shows up on the top end of this track for the Chevrolet camp.
So Barefoot will advance to round 2 as we take a look at some of our Jamboree sponsors here. We'll take this break here from some of our sponsors and also hear from this young lady.
Hi, this is Karina Harney, Miss August for 1991. Stay tuned for more monster truck action.
If tomorrow...
Today, we're in America's Dairyland, the Racine County Fairgrounds here in Union Grove, Wisconsin, ready for round 2 competition. Army Armstrong and Gary Lee on trucks and tractor power. And here are the matchups for round 2. Bigfoot 8 will find himself going against the Equalizer. And Taurus will match up against the Carolina Crusher. Also in round 2, looking for a trip to the semifinals, Nightmare against Barefoot, and the fastest loser of this round will also advance. All right, here we are as we take a look at Andy Brass and Bigfoot 8, the 2-frame racing truck, against David Morris in Equalizer.
Gary, the last time these trucks met was for a national championship 2 years ago. After that, the Morris team split up. He and Gary Cook kind of went different directions. Andy Brass stayed with Bob Chandler. But now, maybe the winning combination for the Equalizer is coming back together.
Well, Andy Brass gets the whole shot, and David Morris really made up some ground through the air, but the Bigfoot Ford will advance.
Well, David Morris, a little bit late off the starting line. I can understand that. He's been out of the driver's seat for a while. But one of the patented moves by the Equalizer team is the top-end charge. Look at that. He almost flew past him.
Well, he pulled that trigger as he went over that second set of cars, and he almost got him, but Bigfoot will advance. Here's a look at Jack Willman Jr. in Taurus out of Granite City, Illinois, and also he'll go up against Gary Porter, the Carolina Crusher. Look at the tires on Porter's truck. Some new ideas, some new strategy for Gary, and here's Army Armstrong.
One of the things that fascinates a lot of people about these behemoth monster trucks is the size of the tires. And what we're going to do is talk about tire technology, believe it or not, in monster truck racing. On my left, you're right, I want you to notice the bar on this tire. This is the way they normally come out there on off-road equipment. It's a flat bar about 3 inches wide, okay? Keep that in mind, flat bar 3 inches wide. Let's go over to the new tire concept that Gary Porter's running. He's taking that flat bar and sharpened it. It's almost razor sharp in order to get a good bite and a good claw into the clay surface. So like anything else, tire technology in monster truck racing is very, very important.
Army, that reminds me of the tires that we have in the mud bog competition.
Yeah, see, the angle that they're cutting these tires will pull the vehicle straight. Right now, he better pull hard. No.
Oh, no, the youngster from Granite City, Illinois, and the Chevy Taurus truck takes the victory. He doesn't look too excited there in the cockpit, does he?
No, I tell you what, this family gets so excited when they race. We talked about it before. I don't think I've ever seen them walk in the pit area. They run everywhere, and they're going to be running in the next round.
We have seen senior Jack Willman Sr. win in the Taurus truck. Now Junior's doing a pretty fair job.
Speaking of Junior, let's take a ride with him. You notice his shock absorber? That's one of the new Custer shock absorbers that the new tech trucks are running, about $1,500 a pop. Now, let's go back to the standard shock absorber that's going to be coming out on Steve Hess's truck. That's the old style setup. A lot rougher ride with the old setup. The new Custer shocks, I believe, Gary, the ways to go.
Well, we're looking at the GMC they call Nightmare out of Indiana. And here is Barefoot. Fred Shafer on board the Chevrolet.
Shafer the racer. They call him Barefoot. He's running the new shocks. We just gave you a comparison. I want you to watch how these trucks land, how they react to impact.
So you're saying that Fred should have a smoother ride because of the new suspension.
Exactly. Should have a softer ride. Look at that. Oh, man.
Well, he picked the front end up, almost got off the racetrack. I'm not sure, but what perhaps he got disqualified. Did he cross the start-finish line?
No, he's okay. One of the things about Shafer, he is a racer, just like I say. He wants to win. He has never won on this circuit. He's been in the final. He's been the first one across the finish line in the final, but was disqualified. He's awfully close here, but that's not the case. Shafer will be back in Barefoot.
How about this camera shot from the underbelly of Nightmare? And look at the abuse these trucks take. Let's go back down trackside. Here's Fred Shafer.
Well, Gary, the guy that's quicker than is trying to go quicker. The word we're getting, you're changing gears back there.
Yeah, Army, it's shortened the starting line up a little bit, and I'm experimenting, and I didn't like what it did, so I'm going back.
Well, you're going quicker than anybody right now.
I wanted to try and go a little quicker.
All right, we'll see you.
Thank you.
Always the object in motorsports.
I told you he was a racer, didn't I? Yeah.
I guess so. All right, now here are your pairings for the semifinals. Bigfoot 8 against Taurus, and the Carolina Crusher, the fast loser from the second round, going up against Fred Shafer in Barefoot. And here is the youngster from Granite City, Jack Willman Jr. in Taurus. I tell you what, it may be tough to decide who's the better of the drivers, dad or son in this. And here's Andy Brass from St. Louis in Bigfoot 8. Ford against Chevrolet.
Each of these runs we're going to see in this round would be worth the price of admission, believe me. Gary, just like you noted, both of these drivers are sharp. The driver that stays the coolest is going to win. And we got a major problem
down there with Bigfoot, and now a problem with Taurus.
Taurus has blown the bottom end of the transmission or the drive shaft, but Bigfoot's still running. Andy Brass notices Taurus is out of the running. He's lost a throttle linkage, I believe. He reached out with his right hand and is driving across, trying to get to the final round.
This may be the slowest semifinal ever in monster truck racing, but Bigfoot will advance. Now he finds the fire, and he will advance to the championship.
Slowest race of the day between two of the fastest monster trucks in the sport.
Something happens to Andy Brass right at the start, and now something happens to the Taurus truck of Jack Willman Jr. as he hits the ramp for the first set of cars. Andy looks over, sees there's a problem. He gets Bigfoot going, and he creeps across the finish. Army Armstrong.
Well, Gary, we're standing with a fella who has a vested interest in that run. Jack Sr. Jack, what happened on the run?
Well, I guess it's one of them mechanical things that you just can't never tell about, you know, but it looks like it broke the input shaft on the transmission. You know, he left, and then he just lost all power, which just one of them things you can't detect.
This is one of these runs you were hoping was on top of a hill where he would keep rolling downhill. I was watching you. You kept leaning forward. It just wasn't to be today.
Right. He get some body motion into it, but it didn't help too much.
Well, good luck. You guys still made a good showing for yourself.
Thank you.
As a truck owner, you never like to see this Taurus out of competition. Let's go back down and talk to Andy Brass.
Boy, Andy, when it's your day, it's your day. A little right-hand throttle driving, but whatever it takes to win, huh?
That's right. You know, I'd come off the line as soon as we hit it. We lost everything, and I seen Jack take off, and then all of a sudden he stopped, and I sat and kind of figured the situation out and figured out what was wrong with the truck, and I knew all we had to do was just get across the end of the finish line, and we'd have it. It was bad luck for Jack, bad luck for us, but it ended up and worked out, and we made it into the finals, and I guess that's all it takes.
We'll see you in that final.
All right.
I tell you what, Gary, when it's going your way, it's going your way. See what I
mean? Safe at home. Andy Brass almost a little grass stain on the driving suit there. Here's Fred Shafer in Barefoot, and he will go up against the fastest loser from round 2, and that is Gary Porter in the Carolina Crusher.
Well, once again, Gary, it comes down to a horsepower game. The chassis are about the same. The horsepower advantage should go to Barefoot. Remember, Shafer has never won in this particular type of competition against these trucks. He has been to the final. Whoa, look at that. You see it?
You see him carry the front end?
Literally powered, horsepower, raw horsepower, and they get together on the end of the track.
That was just a love tap right there. That was kind of a congratulations,
That's called
nice
driving
ride.
it out the back door big time. Look at this.
Watch him pull the wheelie right here as he gets on the throttle. Look at this.
It's like two pit bulls going after each other. Neither one's going to give.
So Barefoot will go against Bigfoot for the championship here in Wisconsin.
Battle of the Blues, brother.
It's Chevy against Ford. And there is a good look at Fred Shafer. Oh, what horsepower he had. There's just a little nudge right there. No damage. No harm, no foul. We're ready for championship competition here from the Union Grove, Racine County Fairgrounds here in Wisconsin. The championship coming up next. Welcome back to the four-wheel and off-road Jamboree Northern Nationals, where there is a potpourri of activities for you truck enthusiasts. And to find out more about how you can be part of the action, call or write the Special Events Promotion Company. We are ready for the championship shootout here. It's Ford against Chevrolet as we go back trackside in Army Armstrong. Your thoughts?
Gary, a lot of times we come back to the people, we tell them they're going to see a war, and in monster truck racing, that's a fact. These guys are going after each other. There's no love lost between a couple of different teams. Fred Shafer and Bob Chandler are strong competitors. A lot of respect there, but there's still no love lost. There's one difference. One drives a Ford, one drives a Chevrolet. The only common denominator, each one wants to drill the other guy to the wall. It's that time. Let's see who's going to walk out of here the winner.
And there is a look at Fred Shafer. The open face helmet. He drives the Chevrolet Barefoot. Alongside Andy Brass in Bigfoot 8.
Gary Lee, you know what they're calling this down on the trackside? They're calling it a Dr. Scholl's final. You got to have a foot to get in this one.
Oh, that is terrible. Oh, but look at the battle, though. What a great championship run. And it was barefoot. But look again, Army. Watch him pull the foot out of the water. Look at the hang time, but the best foot forward belongs to Fred Shafer.
Fred, I tell you what, congratulations to you. As always, you line up against the Chandler operation, it's going to be a war.
That was the bad guy, and that was the one I was worried about.
Well, congratulations. Today it was definitely the day of the bear in Wisconsin.
Thank you, Army.
That wraps it up here in Wisconsin for Army Armstrong. I'm Gary Lee. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week on Trucks and Tractor Power. Now, here's news of an exciting home video from Diamond P Sports. It's time to shake, battle, and roll. Call 1-800-453-2800 for 70 minutes of awesome air-grabbing rooster tail spring action from the worlds of monster truck racing, truck and tractor pulling, and mud bogging. Relive the great moments of thrilling side-by-side monster truck racing. Feel the ground shake from the raw power of truck and tractor pulling. And get down and dirty as the best mud racers battle the slime for the fastest time. All this incredible action on one video cassette just by calling 1-800-453-2800. That's 1-800-453-2800. Strap up for a ride on the wild side. It's time to shake, battle, and roll.